Hi everybody, my name's Genevieve and I'm going to read you a story. This book is called The Golden Mountain by Willi Baum, and it's got cowboys and horses in it. It's part of something called the best book club ever, which I think I'm going to look up after this, because if this really is the best book club, I probably need to read all of them. So it says, I belong to the best book club ever. This is my book. My name is, and you would write in your name if it was okay with your grown-ups. Then it says, will you please read it to me? The Golden Mountain by Willi Baum, based on the text by Ernst A Ekker. Interesting. Okay. Excuse me. That's beautiful. Sorry, that's beautiful, isn't it? More than 100 years ago, there were two brothers, Jack and Pete. Oh, this way, so you can see better. Who owned a small farm in the east. They had only one house, one horse, a spotted cow, 3 chickens, a pig, a cat, and a faithful dog named Rufus. Jack and Pete worked very hard, and most of the time they were happy. But every Thursday, when the mail train going west chugged by, the two brothers began to dream of adventure. Wouldn't it be exciting to go out west and search for gold, said Jack one day. If we found some, we'd be rich. Let's do it, said Pete. Let's sell the farm and go west. Seems pretty exciting. Oh. The very next morning, Jack and Pete found a neighbor who wanted to buy their farm. They sold him the land, the horse, the pig, the spotted cow, the 3 chickens, and the cat. Rufus was not for sale. He's the dog, remember? The man wrote out a contract and paid for everything in silver and gold coins. Jack counted the money. There was more than enough to take the train out west. The following Thursday, the two happy brothers hopped aboard the mail train with Rufus. They stood on the platform and said goodbye to their quiet farm life. The engineer blew the whistle. Toot, toot. Jack and Pete were bound for adventure. See, they're good. And you can see there's Rufus. He's a puppy. Yeah. For many days and many nights, the train rumbled westward, over mountains, through dark tunnels, across the prairies. It went. Finally, the train reached the end of the tracks in the middle of the desert. The Pony Express took the mail on from there, and the train went back to the east. The desert was not as quiet as Jack and Pete had thought it would be. Rough, tough cowboys rode through town, shooting their guns in the air and shouting, "Yippee!" and "Yahoo!" People look funny out west, said Jack. I guess we look funny to them, said Pete. Jack and Pete found a general store where they could buy cowboy clothes and 6-shooters. Now they looked like everyone else. Well, where's the gold? Said Jack as they came outside. Ride himself for 3 days, said a cowboy with 2 horses to sell. Then start looking for a golden mountain. The other man chuckled. They had all looked for the mountain of gold, but not one of them had been able to find him. That guy's teasing them. So, the cowboy was playing a trick on the brothers from the east, but Jack and Pete did not know that. They bought picks and shovels right away and started riding south. For 3 whole days, they talked about how rich they would be when they found the Golden Mountain. They were so busy talking, they didn't notice that they were being watched. 3 fierce outlaws from town had been following them, hoping to steal the last of their money. Jack and Pete were about to set up camp for the night. When... Bang, bang, bang! The outlaws came galloping after them. Jack and Pete were too frightened to shoot at the bandits. They dropped their picks, their shovels, and their money bag and raced towards the hills. Rufus ran panting beside them. Oh my goodness. Okay, ready? When at last the outlaws gave up their chase, Jack and Pete found themselves high on a mountaintop. From there, they could see beautiful blue mountain peaks that seemed to touch the sky. But what was glittering in the distance? Was it just the reflection of the setting sun, or could it be Yahoo! Yahoo, whispered Pete. It's the Golden Mountain, but we've lost our picks and shovels, said Jack. That was no reason to turn back, however, so the two brothers continued riding. Early the next morning, Jack and Pete reached the foot of the glittering mountain, but what could they, do without tools? Pete was so angry he kicked the mountain. His spur chipped off a small gold nugget. Unfortunately, he could not chip off any more. The small chunk of gold would not make them rich, but at least they could exchange it for money to buy new tools. Smart. A few days later, Jack and Pete arrived in town with their gold nugget. They took it to the bank. The banker was amazed to hear that they had found the Golden Mountain, and he gave them more money for the gold than they'd ever seen in their lives. Within minutes, every cowboy in turn had heard about Jack and Pete's discovery. When the two brothers came out of the bank, they could scarcely believe their eyes. Everybody was grabbing picks and shovels. The cowboys jumped on their horses, shouting, "Yippee!" and "Yahoo!" and "Yay!" as they galloped away. "I think we started a gold rush," said Jack. It's beautiful. Look at the sunset. It's really nice. That evening, Jack and Pete rode out of a real ghost town. There was not a single person in sight. All the stores were shut tight, and there wasn't a pick or shovel anywhere. "I'm tired of all this adventure," said Jack. "Why don't we just go home and try to buy back our little farm?" "I have a better idea," said Pete. "Let's take our money and start a new farm right here in the West." So Jack and Pete rode on until they came to the ranch of Don Emilio. There's Don Emilio, see? This lady, it's Barbie's. He had plenty of animals to sell. The brothers bought 2 cows, 2 pigs, 8 chickens, and a rooster, and a wagon load of farm tools. Just as they were about to leave, a cat jumped into their wagon. At last, Pete shook hands with Don Emilio. "You were very lucky to find the Golden Mountain," Don Emilio said, "but I don't think you'll ever find it again." "Why not?" asked Pete. Don Emilio's wife laughed. "They say it's a magic mountain. A man can only find it once in 100 years. Whoa. Whoa. It's pretty awesome, right? What lucky, lucky gentlemen they are. Because they're sweet and kind. Okay, ready? Jack and Pete whistled and sang as they looked for a good place to start their new farm. Rufus ran happily beside the wagon. Off in the distance, they could hear the clatter of hoofs and the clicking of picks and shovels. The cowboys from town were frantically looking for the Golden Mountain. Perhaps they're still searching today. But Jack and Pete were not thinking about gold. They were too busy dreaming about their quiet farm life. In a peaceful valley, hidden among the beautiful blue mountains, Jack and Pete found the perfect spot for their new farm. They chopped down trees to build a log cabin. Their animals grazed on sweet grass and clover and drank water from the stream. At night, the brothers slept in the wagon while Rufus stood guard outside. In time, Jack and Pete had a farm of their own in the West. They had 2 horses, 2 cows, 2 pigs, 8 chickens, and a rooster and a cat, and of course their faithful dog Rufus, which was much more than they had back east. Most of the time they worked very hard, but they were always happy. The end. And here's the back. And this is one of those magic books where the front and the back looks exactly the same. So thank you again for visiting and listening to me read you a story. This is called The Golden Mountain by Willi Baum. It is based on the text by Ernst A Ekker. And it was super fun. What a great story. Well, so thank you for listening. And I'm Genevieve. And very importantly, be good for your grown-ups. Be good to your grown-ups. Be good for yourself. Be good to yourself. And most importantly, be excellent to each other. Thank you. Bye.